Massive breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court has upheld the TikTok ban, surprisingly, with liberal justices joining conservative to be like, yo, Congress has spoken. The national security threat was clearly articulated. Both parties agreed. They passed a law. The president signed it. Thank you and have a nice day. Now there's an argument as to whether or not this will actually get enforced because Joe Biden's administration said, you know what? We're not going to enforce this. It's up to Trump. And Trump has said, we don't want to enforce it. The only problem, the law would affect third parties like Apple and Google and any hosting providers in the country, and they may not want civil or criminal liability regardless of whether or not the executive branch seeks to uphold the ban. Not to mention, their insurance companies may not allow it. It is looking like TikTok may shut down for good. Check this story out from CNBC. They report the Supreme Court has ruled to uphold the TikTok ban. Wow. I did not think we'd get a decision on a Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Although President-elect Donald Trump could choose not to enforce the law, it's unclear whether third-party internet service providers will support the app. Under the terms of the law, service providers like Apple and Google will be penalized for supporting TikTok after the law's deadline. So let me clarify once again, my friends. Trump might come out and outright say, don't worry, we won't enforce this. But with fines and penalties and criminal liability still racking up on these digital service providers, they might be like, so what happens if you get out of office and someone else comes in? We're going to have this huge litany of charges and penalties against us? Not interested. Not to mention, as I said, the insurance companies are going to be like, I don't care if they enforce it or not. You can't break the law. They report Supreme Court on Friday upheld the law requiring China-based ByteDance to divest its ownership of TikTok by Sunday or face an effective ban. ByteDance has so far refused to sell TikTok, meaning many U.S. users could lose access to the app this weekend. The app may still work for those who already have TikTok on their phones, although ByteDance has also threatened to shut the app down. In a unanimous decision, this is crazy. The Supreme Court sided with the Biden administration, upholding the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act, which Biden signed in April. Quote, there is no doubt that for more than 170 million Americans, TikTok offers a distinctive and expansive outlet for expression, means of engagement, and source of community, the Supreme Court's opinion said. But Congress has determined that divestiture is necessary to address its well-supported national security concerns regarding TikTok's data collection practices and relationship with a foreign adversary. I would like to add, full disclosure, Timcast and Timcast IRL were banned without notice for breaking no rules and with no recourse from TikTok. I am not a fan of this platform. I have never been a fan of this platform. Even when we were critical of the platform, we were still operating on it. I would not be surprised if the reason we got banned from the platform is because I have largely agreed from the get-go that a foreign adversary should not operate mass media in the United States. So maybe it was punishment. I don't know. I tweeted at TikTok policy, unban Timcast IRL. Not that it matters at this point. Looks like they're going to nuke the platform. Supreme Court Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Neil Gorsuch wrote concurrences. I can't believe the liberals actually made sense on this one. TikTok's fate in the U.S. now lies in the hands of President-elect Donald Trump, who originally favored a ban during his first administration, but has since flip-flopped on the matter. In December, Trump asked the Supreme Court to pause the law's implementation and allow his administration the opportunity to pursue a political resolution of the questions at issue in the case. Trump began to speak more favorably of TikTok after he met in February with billionaire Republican megadonor Jeff Yass. Yass is a major ByteDance investor who also owns a stake in the owner in Trump. He owns a stake in Truth Social, I think they're trying to say. Trump will be inaugurated on Monday, one day after the TikTok deadline for sale. TikTok CEO Shao Chu is one of several tech leaders expected to be in attendance seated in the dais. The nation's highest court said in the opinion that while data collection and analysis is a common practice in the digital age, the sheer size of TikTok and its susceptibility to foreign adversary control, together with the vast swaths of sensitive data the platform collects, poses a national security concern. Full stop. It's not just that, ladies and gentlemen. It is the algorithm. They don't show this garbage to their kids. If even 1% of our younger generation are being exposed to psychotic imagery and nonsense ideas, it is going to have a negative impact on this country in the future to the benefit of our adversaries. Our own platforms are bad enough with this stuff. We don't need TikTok doing the same thing. Under the terms of the law, third-party internet service providers like Apple and Google will be penalized for supporting a ByteDance-owned TikTok after the January 19th deadline. If service providers and the App Store owners comply, consumers will be unable, I copied it here, guys, unable to install the necessary updates that make the app functional. So basically, you'll have the app, you'd be able to use it. That's about it. Here's the issue. It's going to be off the App Store, so no new users. But TikTok is saying, so what? We're going to shut it down. The rumor is TikTok will direct all American users to a screen that just says, we have been shut down. Blame your government. And you know what? It'll piss a lot of people off, but I'm excited for it. Young people are addicted to these short-form platforms, and I think it is good and healthy to force them off. I got to be completely honest. If the algorithm was healthy and promoting good news and information, I'd support it. But I don't trust what China is doing at data collection and the message they're sending to young people, largely woke garbage. Trump only reversed course because they finally started allowing certain mega influencers. Meanwhile, you go to X and you can see a wave of prominent Trump supporting personalities saying they were banned from the platform for no reason. So what does it look like? If you're a prominent personality, you supported Trump, you got nuked on TikTok. If you were a smaller personality, perhaps, and no disrespect, less prominent, then you seem to be okay. What this does is prevents powerful celebrity from forming in the Trump sphere while still giving general flat support to make it look like Trump's being supported in general. Trump falls for this. The people around him are lobbying, and it is a bad idea. Meanwhile, on X, you have many political celebrities who are able to rise up and influence people. That is a good thing. Merit determines. Your message works. It's successful. I hope the Trump admin gets the message. It is a good thing, in my opinion, that TikTok is being forced to divest. And the fact that they don't want to speaks volumes. You will make money in the sale. You can make the sale. The business will operate. Profit to be had. Why deny that? Because in my view, it's a weapon against us. They go on to say reps from TikTok did not immediately respond to requests for comment. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre reiterated President Biden's support for the law in a statement saying TikTok should remain available to Americans, but simply under American ownership or other ownership that addresses the national security concerns identified by Congress in developing this law. Make no mistake, my friends, many people are basically saying that there's true information we can get from TikTok we can't get in the U.S. But there are other apps you can use that have free speech. Rumble allows people to say largely anything. You have BitChute. X is largely free speech. I say largely. It's not perfect. The issue I see with TikTok is that we can't access. We have no recourse. And it is not, we don't know what their intentions are. China may allow certain conversations, largely on Israel-Palestine. But you know they're not doing it because they want you to get good information. They're doing it because it is disruptive to the U.S. Now, a lot of people in this country are dissenters, and they want to rely on foreign adversaries for access to dissent. Americans have a right to speak, and X affords you that ability. It's imperfect, but it's good. It works. You're allowed to be on there. Even many of these people who are very anti-Israel, who are complaining about losing their verification badges, can still post. And you can go on Rumble, much the same. Quote, given the sheer fact of timing, this administration recognizes that actions to implement the law simply must fall to the next administration, which takes office Monday. I mean, that makes sense. What are they going to do? They have one day. Kat Ruan, the director for the Center for Democracy and Technology nonprofit, criticized the decision, saying in a statement that it harms the free expression of hundreds of millions of TikTok users in this country and around the world. No, it doesn't, because TikTok is the number one censor of information that challenges the machine. A lot of people are cheering it on because they allowed free Palestine hashtags. Yet for a lot of people that criticized the war machine, wokeness, or other narrative machine garbage from the corporate press, they found themselves censored. Why? Because it benefited the Chinese narrative. I'm not interested. In December, members of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party sent letters to Apple CEO Tim Cook and Google CEO Sundar Pichai, urging the executives to begin preparing to comply with the law. Last Friday, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments from lawyers repping TikTok, content creators in the U.S. government, TikTok's lead lawyer, Noel Francisco, argued that the law violates the First Amendment rights of the app's 170 million American users. Meanwhile, U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar claimed the app's alleged ties to China pose a national security threat, and they do. Many TikTok creators have been telling their fans to find them on competing platforms like YouTube and Meta's Facebook and Instagram. Zuckerberg just came out and said they're removing restrictions. Instagram is available, imperfect. But guys, Rumble. Use Rumble. You can still do it. Imagine if 170 million Americans signed up for Rumble instead. What's the argument? People are saying, well, you can't get discovered the same way. Yes, you can. If every TikTok user went to Rumble, you'd have no issues. Let's go, baby. Make the change. Be the change. Should ByteDance decide to sell TikTok to a U.S. company or group or of investors, potential buyers may have to pay up between $40 billion and $50 billion. Why are we giving China, an adversary, access to this massive resource? Control of an large economic position in our country and a mass media platform. I know that Xinhua exists in the United States. That's Chinese news, but they're not monopolistic. It's scale that matters. TikTok has become too massive and it's too censorious to allow. I get pissed at Twitter censoring people. I've been arguing the whole time. Facebook censoring people, YouTube censoring people. But guess what? As Americans, we have the ability to sue, file FOIA requests, take them to court, and expose them. And we did, and we won. We can't do that with ByteDance. Make ByteDance divest, bring TikTok to America, and then we can complain with accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, this is huge news. I'll wrap it up there. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. We'll be back tonight at youtube.com/TimcastIRL, and we will see you all then.